Our selection today is So You Would Know. I did all of these things because I love you. I came that you might have life and have it abundantly. I love you.
I really love you.
I love you.
I love you.
I brought you out of darkness. Yes, I
I
did.
love you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love you. I really love you. So you would know how much. So you would know how much. How much I love you.
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua HaMashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you up on earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. We went over a portion of Yahshua's trumpet on our feast days of trumpets, and now we're going to get into the second portion of that. So this is entitled Yahshua's Trumpet Part 2. And there are trivia questions for the things that we're going over today. So if you do not have those things, you need to just send an email that you need those. Let's begin in Jeremiah chapter 50, and we're going to read verses 1 through 46. I think the email is just about to go out. Matter of fact, I don't even think it has been sent out yet, but it's on its way. Jeremiah chapter 50, and we're going to read verses 1 through 46.
Verse 1. The word that Yahweh spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. Declare you among the nations, and publish, and set up a standard, publish, and conceal not. Say, Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, Murdoch is broken in pieces. Her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. For out of the north there comes up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast.
So whenever we're dealing with a situation where Yahweh is bringing forth judgment, what he does is the weapons of that judgment is already there. If we do the things that we're supposed to do, then those things never overtake us. But when we get off into things and get out of the way of Yahweh, the way that we're supposed to walk, then that instrument of judgment is then executed. Our people would go into a land and kill off all the males and one get away. Why do you think Yahweh let that one get away? Now that one get away and he start building an army. Now that army never gets to come at you if you do what you're supposed to do. But the drive that will be in that one, because everything that he has known has been taken from him. His entire family has been killed, everything. And all he's ever thought about was getting at you. This is his entire life's purpose at this point. And Yahweh leave him right off that to the side. He left him there for a reason. And he trains, and he exercises, and he does everything he needs to do to become an efficient killer. And Yahweh leave him, waiting to see what you're going to do. And if you do what you're supposed to do, he never gets an opportunity. But when you don't do what you're supposed to do, Yahweh open up the hedge and let him in. He ain't got to tell him, hey, go do something to my servant. No, this has been his entire life's purpose. Is to get you. And because you didn't do what you're supposed to do, he said all he had to do was open the door. That's it. Everything else he has been dreaming about his entire life. So when we start talking about judgment, you need to understand how easy it is for Yahweh to let that judgment come upon us. Somewhere there's somebody that all they thinking about is destroying you. That's all they thinking about. They get up in the morning, destroy you like that's the first thing that came to their mind. As long as they do what he's supposed to do, they'll never get to him. They'll never have the opportunity. And all their thought, all of that will never ever do anything. Go ahead, bro.
Jeremiah chapter 15, verse 4. In those days and in that time, says Yahweh, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Yehudah together, going and weeping. They shall go and seek Yahweh, their El. They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, come, and let us join ourselves to Yahweh in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten.
Right, but the people tell you that all the children of Israel already know the way to Zion. See, the first thing that we have to understand is it will not be a situation whereby we just up and go to Zion. There's going to be some purging that has to happen. There's going to be some things, and we know good and well that the deceivers ain't finna let us walk in there. So some things are going to have to happen. Go ahead.
My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray.
Right. And we seek out the shepherds that lead us astray from Yahweh. Because they got this and they got that. And they say this and they say that. Never knowing that each a little bit of change pushes us further and further away from Yahweh Elohim. And keep in consideration, this has always been the adversary's focus. He doesn't care how he separates you from Yahweh. He knew good and well eating from the tree of knowledge was going to separate you from your Elohim. So the first thing he wanted to do is give you knowledge. We become the smartest fools on the face of the planet. Here goes some knowledge. And it never does occur to us. You know, ever since you got that knowledge, you've been further from Elohim. So here comes the adversary, the devil. Ooh, check this knowledge out. And you say, yeah, I feel smarter. Right. Didn't feel that step that you just made away from Yahweh. Then you get something else. Ooh, I feel smarter by hearing that too. Another step. Before you know it, Yahweh over here and you way over there. And now you can't figure out, how did I get this far from Yahweh? Right. You have to watch the adversary and his devices that he used. You won't even feel yourself drifting away from Yahweh. But what is the punishment for sin? What was the original punishment for sin? Separation from Yahweh. And now you can't be in my garden no more. Then you're going to be amongst me. You got to go somewhere else. Go ahead.
They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. All that found them have devoured them. And their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against Yahweh.
Right. They have a ready-made excuse in their own heart and mind saying they have sinned against Yahweh, so we haven't sinned ourselves. Go ahead.
The habitation of justice, even Yahweh, the hope of their fathers. Remove out of the midst of Babylon and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as the he-goats before the flocks. For, lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country.
Right, and they're getting themselves together right now. They are getting together. It used to be a point where people were just absolutely afraid of the big bad Western wolf. You even say something and she would stomp you out. That fear is not happening anymore. And the first part of erasing that fear was presenting before all the world a nincompoop as a leader. That is the first thing that makes people like, this is what we're afraid of. He can't even remember what he just said. He just said something different. That's the first thing. So when they start, because at first, you look at the big bad giant as unbeatable. You think about all of the fights that we've watched and all of the fighters who were undefeated. After the first loss, them losses started racking up because everybody saw how to beat them after that one fight. Did you see what happened when the left uppercut came up to the right side of the jaw? He don't seem to be able to take that punch. Now everybody's like, that's that punch. That's that one right there. Now they whole fight, all they want is that one punch right there. They done let the big bad dude beat them up. They, yeah, but when I get that one, and just to show, bop, it's an off button right there. You find out what somebody off button at. Everybody off button in a different spot. You find out off button, pop, he gone. Well, these people are starting to find out what a big bad wolf's off button is. She loves pleasures. When you cut her off from her pleasures, every war that this country has entered in, they have never suffered. They still go to business as usual. They still go to church as usual. They still do everything the same as if nothing has ever happened. Russia made a point in saying, oh, the next conflict, America not going to be able to sit back in comfort across the water. They recognize the reason you've gotten so many conflicts is none of it ever comes to your house. You start the mess, But all the fight has always been destroying somebody else's land. We're going to see how y'all like being without lights. And you're going to find just a little simple thing like that. Let the lights go out for more than a day or two and see what happens. Everybody who all married, everything changes. But this is, understand, there are places that the West has waged war on that those people didn't have a power for months on months, some of them years. Lights cut on for about a couple hours, cut back out. They've had to deal with that. So these people have actually been strengthened through the problems. We've gotten a certain way. We used to flipping the switch and the light come on. You know when you spoil, when the light's off, you know the light's off. But you know you went right to that switch and hit it anyway. Now they just told you the power was out. But you know what happened when you privileged? You hit the switch anyway. You're walking around with a flashlight. You know the light's off. Why did you hit the switch? Because you're accustomed that that's how easy it is to turn lights on. Just hit the switch. So what is it going to do to our mental as we keep walking in the room, hitting that switch, and no lights come on? Go ahead.
And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expertman. None shall return in vain.
Right. You know, sometimes people just get scared. They just start shooting. Right? Yahweh gonna make everything they shoot at hit something. So just shoot. Don't worry about where you aim. Just shoot. I'm gonna make it hit something. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, said Yahweh.
And the Chaldeans were known for being astrologers. So at that point, Yahweh starts using this Chaldea to even deal with the astrologers, the ones who worship the stars and the moon, and everything you even know about this place is based on sun worship. Everything about the pyramid was sun worship. Every house is built in the image of a pyramid. Then it has 3 pyramids on most of the times in the front. So when it says this place is mad upon their idols, every house looks like an idol of sun worship, which is what the pyramid was built for. It wasn't built to worship triangles. It was built to worship the sun. This is why when you turn that dollar over and you see that pyramid, you see that all-seeing eye of their Egyptian god glowing at the top of it. They worship the sun. And they've been worshiping the sun. Go ahead.
Because you were glad, because you rejoiced, O you destroyers of mine heritage, because you are grown fat as the heiferette grass, and bellow as bulls.
So Yahweh is also making it known who actually destroyed his heritage. So you can automatically see a connection between this daughter of Babylon and the people who have been set up as the Jews in the land of Israel. Who set them there? Then you look at who's oppressing the children of Israel. Same country. Go ahead.
Your mother shall be sore confounded.
Right, and this lets you know then, by dealing with your mother, this is a country that came forth out of another country. Go ahead.
She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Because of the anger of Yahweh it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goes by Babylon shall be astonished, and hiss at all her plagues.
And this is what's going to make this destruction different than anything else, because at this point, there's going to be utter destruction, and it is going to be unlivable. Go ahead.
Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all you that bend the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows. for she has sinned against Yahweh.
Right. So what Yahweh does is he holds all his judgment until the day of judgment. And then at that point, they get it for everything that has ever happened. We read this law says it's 50 years is the Jubilee. You have to consider how many 50-year Jubilees have passed and the children of Israel were not free. Oh, yeah, we're going to deal with all that at the same time. Go ahead.
Shout against her round about. She has given her hand. Her foundations are fallen. Her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of Yahweh. Take vengeance upon her. As she has done, do unto her.
Mm-hmm.
Cut off the sower from Babylon, and him that handles the sickle in the time of harvest. For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his people, and they shall flee everyone to his own land.
So the fear of the oppressing sword is what's going to make people start to get up and leave. Before that, everybody's coming to the daughter of Babylon. They said, this is the place of lands and lands of dreams, man, where you can make everything happen, where you can get it, all the money. Everybody come from everywhere to come. But when they start talking about that war, folks said, you know what, I'm going to go back home. I'd rather be poor and live than be a dead rich man. The two of those don't even sound that. Is that a question? Why? Most definitely, live and poor, please. Let me go ahead and put my vote in. Go ahead.
Israel is a scattered sheep. The lions have driven him away. First, the king of Assyria has devoured him. And last, this Nebuchadrezzar, king of Babylon, has broken his bones.
And from the minute Nebuchadnezzar was given that dream about this whole image of his rulership, it was dealing with the entire rulership of the Euro-Gentiles, and eventually that thing would be smote on its feet, and it would crumble, and then the whole image would fall. But it was giving them all of that time that they would be able to rule upon the earth, and we are nearing the end of that. And one thing we all must understand, anytime you get to the end of somebody's rule and they have gotten accustomed to rulership, it is going to be a hell of a fight for them to relinquish control, especially once they've had it for a long time. Go ahead.
Verse 18. Therefore thus says Yahweh of hosts, the El of Israel, behold, I will punish the king of Babylon and his land, as I have punished the king of Assyria. And I'll bring Israel again to his habitation, and he shall feed on Carmel and Bashan, and his soul shall be satisfied upon Mount Ephraim and Gilead.
Right. It says, therefore thus says Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, behold, I will punish the king of Babylon and his land as I have punished the king of Assyria, and I will bring Israel again to his habitation. So each time that you're dealing with this judgment, you're also dealing with the restoration of Israel. So Yahweh punishes Israel. He uses whomever he uses. This is why, I try to explain to people that everybody work for Yahweh, either directly or indirectly. The problem is everybody not going to get credit for the work. So even the people that are used to punish Israel, they're working for Yahweh. But as soon as the punishment is over, Yahweh going in to deal with them and then restore Israel back to their habitation. Go ahead.
In those days and in that time, says Yahweh, the lawlessness of Israel shall be sought for, and there shall be none.
And that right there says a whole lot. That you will seek for the lawlessness of Israel and can't find it. We seek now, all we find is lawlessness. For most people say, I'm not subject to the law. So, I don't have to keep the Sabbath. That's for them. It's real easy to find lawlessness now. How many people even remember the Sabbath to keep it holy? But yet, when you walk in the lobby of all the churches, they have the same 10 commandments that we have. Yet they don't believe they have to keep but the ones that they like. Go ahead.
And the sins of Yehuda, and they shall not be found, for I'll pardon them whom I reserve. Go up against the land of Merathaim, even against it, and against the inhabitants of Pekod. Waste and utterly destroy after them, says Yahweh, and do according to all that I have commanded you. A sound of battle is in the land, and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken?
Now, and this term here describes all of the things that this daughter of Babylon does. She is in everybody's business. She in everybody's land, telling them how to treat their own people. Ain't nothing worse than somebody standing in your living room telling you how you need to treat your family, and you go home and they mistreating theirs. Wait a minute. When you just standing in my living room talking about how I need to talk to my wife, and you just threw a brick at yours? Go ahead, bro.
How is Babylon become a desolation among nations? Among the nations, pardon me. I have laid a snare for you, and you are also taken, O Babylon, and you was not aware.
You see that? I have laid a snare for you, and you were taken, and you were not aware. I told you, all those folks who be using Yahweh, they don't know Yahweh be using them at the same time. They think they getting over on Yahweh the whole time. Yahweh getting over on them. He letting them think that they using him, and he using them too. And as soon as he done, he gonna drop them off. All right, this your stop. What you mean you must stop? Oh no, you getting off the Yahweh train here. I'm done. We done. You done using me, and I'm done using you. Fair exchange. I don't owe you nothing. You don't owe me nothing. You use me, I use you. Time for you to get off. Thank you for coming out. God bless. Good night. Go ahead.
You are found and also caught because you have striven against Yahweh. Yahweh has opened his armory and has brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Adonai Yahweh of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. Come against her from the utmost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left.
And when you talk about our people leaving out of Egypt, what was said? Borrow of her. I mean, they know we wasn't coming back, so we wasn't gonna pay it back. You know, this is black borrowing right here. That, when somebody asks you to borrow, you gotta ask. So what kind of borrower is this? Is this the Egyptian borrowing where you don't pay back? Or is this that kind where you going to give me back the stuff that I give? Let's define what kind of borrowing we talking about here. Because when Yahweh said, borrow them people, he know we ain't coming back. We ain't giving none of that stuff back. But see, that all is part of our reparations. If we get reparations and still stay here, we're going to give all the money back. It wouldn't do us any good to get reparations and stay here. In 2 years, they have all their money back. We'll be back to my, so are y'all going to institute welfare again? You stay in a $5 million house. We gave you reparations and you asking for welfare again? But we spent that. We thought it was going to be a continual payment. Right. But that's what happens when you have been tricked into being only consumers. So then money that is spent that is not regenerated is always going to be lost. You can't spend money without regenerating money and think that you're not going to be broke. If you're not regenerating that cash flow, it is going to be depleted. Simple as that. Go ahead, bro.
Jeremiah chapter 15, verse 27. Slay all her bullocks. Let them go down to the slaughter. Woe unto them. For their day is come, the time of their visitation. The voice of them that flee and escape out of the land of Babylon, to declare in Zion the vengeance of Yahweh our Elohim, the vengeance of his temple. Call together the archers against Babylon. All you that bend the bow, camp against it round about. Let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work.
Right. Once again, he says the same thing before. Do unto her as she has done unto other people. Then render unto her according to her works. Now, it has taken a very long time for all these works to be done. So when the judgment for all of these things start coming, people are going to be confused. Because Yahweh is not just dealing with the things that have happened in the last 5 years since you've been paying attention. Yahweh is adding up everything that's been going on for generations, centuries upon centuries. So that is the level of judgment that's coming. There's things that Yahweh's about to bring forth judgment on that we don't even know what that is. Somebody gonna have to tell us, oh no, see, this is for such and such. When did that happen? Oh, 275 years ago. Oh, wow. But he said, I couldn't recompense them then. You were still in punishment. I can't recompense them their judgment while you're stuck in their house. So when I punish them, I'm going to punish you too. You got to come out of the house. Go ahead.
According to all that she has done, do unto her.
Uh-huh.
For she has been proud against Yahweh, against the Holy One of Israel. Therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in that day, says Yahweh. Behold, I am against you, O you most proud, says the Adonai Yahweh of hosts. For your day is come, the time that I will visit you.
Right. Behold, I am against you, O you most proud. Check that out. Most proud. We sing our song, we think everybody ought to stand up, put their hand over their heart and sing the song with us. We glorifying America. You glorified with us. And how dare you go to one of them arenas and decide you ain't gonna stand up and sing that song. I done told people you might want to stand up and at least fake like. Might not be no words coming out, but hey, you got 50,000 drunk rednecks and you the only chocolate chip and you decide you ain't gonna stand for that anthem, hey, you might want to know where those exits at, chocolate chip. Because you might be done got yourself in a fight that you can't handle. Because they real serious about their national anthem, especially after 4 Budweisers. That thing means a whole lot. So you have to consider where you going before you decide, oh, I ain't going to pay this no attention. Yeah, you can pay that no attention in your house. When you decided to go to that auditorium with them 50,000 people and they all juiced up, you might want to think about that. Go ahead.
Verse 32, and the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him.
Right, and when you start talking about kindling a fire in the cities, look at that graphic. If we're on the right graphic, understand, I've seen some pictures of California and it was absolutely frightening to think that that much fire is going on in one place. And most of that is coming from how dry things have been because of, their whole climate change. That the orange guy says it's not even real. He said there's no real thing about, climate change. He said it's not real. He said he don't even think the scientists know. They don't know. But it's causing, a lot more devastation to happen. And it's interesting that all of this devastation is happening within the same country. You have fires on one side, and you have it underwater on another side. You finish one storm. Somebody ringing over here. You finish one storm, and before you know it, another storm is already brewing, ready to come. You can't even finish one for the other one coming. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 33, thus says Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Yehudah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. Their Redeemer is strong. Yahweh of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. A sword is upon the Chaldeans, says Yahweh, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon her princes, and upon her wise men. A sword is upon the liars, and they shall dote. A sword is upon her mighty men, and they shall be dismayed. A sword is upon their horses, and upon their chariots, and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her.
All the mingled people that are in the midst of her. Once again, you have different groups of people who have all migrated to this land, and at the end of the day, you really have to look at something. if Yahweh is going to totally destroy something, he says at the same time that every man must go to his own land, right? So if every man must go to his own land, if this was actually somebody's land, how can Yahweh actually destroy it? How do they go back? See, so when you talk about the separation of families and the split off, there were people that migrated here, and each one of those people migrated from somewhere else and came and settled in this place. Even the ones that we call natives. They navigated from somewhere else, just kept walking up, got up in this land, and everybody say, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. When Yahweh destroyed it, ain't nobody's. Because it's going to be unlivable. So Yahweh can't turn around and then tell the people, you must go to your own land. Well, mine is the one that's smoking. Yahweh, that's you see the smoke up there, so where you want me to go? No. That's how you know it don't belong to nobody. Go ahead.
And they shall become as women. A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed. A drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up. For it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. Therefore the wild beasts of the desert with the wild beasts of the islands shall dwell there, and the owls shall dwell therein, and it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation.
It shall no more, this is what makes that different. It shall not be inhabited again forever. And we know that's what nuclear fallout does. It makes something unlivable. And you have to consider, it's not just nuclear fallout because of somebody sent a nuclear bomb. You know, all you have to do, the minute a nuclear power plant loses its power and it can't cool down the reactor, you know that's it, right? See, this is that thing that they don't really talk to you about. Like they said, nuclear energy is great. Judy will be able to power the world. Yes. Never comes to light that, hey, what happened if the power go out for too long? Oh, okay, we all die. Wait a minute. Don't put that in my neighborhood. Wait a minute. You should have told me that first. That should have been the first thing you told me. What happened when they had them storms out there in Japan? They couldn't cool down them reactors. They didn't have no power. It kept getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And if you don't cool them down, oh, you about to have yourself a light show. Well, think about all these things they got everywhere. That once enough things happen, you're not going to be able to tend to that. You're not going to be, and let me tell you something, once stuff start going bad, ain't nobody hanging around no nuclear facility saying, I'm going down with the ship. Ain't nobody saying that. Ain't nobody saying, once it start get enough glow to it, you're going to notice all the black people be the first one to, you know what, it's time. It's time for us to go. Hey, we're going to start getting out of there, man. We're not going to stay there and go down. This thing keeps getting hotter. We're not staying there. So all of those places, and these are things that we don't even look at. Like, as far as even a survival thing, do we even know where the nuclear power plants are? Because you might want to, how you know we might be running from somewhere and running right to a nuclear power plant? Everybody else going that way, and we keep trying to figure out why they going that way. Because the nuclear power plant is there. There's a reason why ain't nobody on this road. But we'll say, oh my God, man, let's drive this road. Ain't nobody on it. It's a reason why ain't nobody on that road. Because if that thing blow up, everybody around here die. That's why everybody's going away from that facility. We don't even know where the facility's at. They be right in our backyard. We just ride by something and be like, hey, what's that? Like you don't even know that thing's like near your house. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 40. As Elohim overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, says Yahweh, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. Behold, a people shall come from the north, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. They shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel, and will not show mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, every one everyone put in array like a man to the battle against you, O daughter of Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
The king of Babylon has heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pangs as a woman in travail.
Right. So then you say, as you read earlier, because of fear of the oppressing sword, people are going to leave. Now it says, starts talking about an assembly of nations. So when you start talking about an assembly of nations, understand, wait a minute, she has allies, right? So why would an assembly of nations frighten all the people? When the allies start saying, well, we're just going to sit still, that starts giving all the other assembly of nations great power. Understand, at the beginning of this presidency, there were allies that say, we have decided not to share intelligence with this presidency because they don't know when to stop talking. That's the first step of your allies pulling away from you. See, everything, everybody can join together in merriment. But when the bullets start flying, let's see who's still going to be standing there with you. Because all them people that's with you at the shindig, they with you because it's shindiggery. But when a bullet whizzes by somebody in it, let's see if they still stand there. Go ahead.
Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan onto the habitation of the strong. But I'll make them suddenly run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me? And who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Therefore hear you the counsel of Yahweh, that he has taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he has purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out.
The least of the flock shall draw them out. Look at who's drawing them out. The Jewish people, the people who they're giving all the money to, has almost gotten us into several wars right off the rip, and nobody's paying attention. Israel purposely shot down American ships, and America know it and won't do a thing about it. They kill American soldiers. They tried to sabotage the Iranian nuclear power plant. Iran found the bug that they found. They found it and knew that it was Israel, and America helped them. America had agreed to do so much. Israel amped it up, and that's what got them caught. They automatically know who sabotaged their nuclear capabilities. And in that little bit, Israel almost got United States in a full-fledged conflict. But it never stops her from dealing with them. No matter how many times she almost gets this place blown up, America still deals with Israel. And then it's people that they are giving money to. So we got homeless people sitting over here. You go downtown and go under the bridge, we got homeless people under every bridge. Yet, millions upon millions of our dollars go to Israel per day. And now there's starting to be people, professors, all kind of congressional people who are starting to speak out that this agreement with Israel is going to get us into trouble. This is why they hated Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter was, every other president just agreed with Israel. Jimmy Carter said, I've examined this situation, and what Israel is doing to the Palestinian people is genocide. It is apartheid, what they're doing. Oh man, they blackball him so bad. How dare you? This is how you have to understand how powerful the Jewish people are. When you can blackball a former president, oh, you working with some power. And all he did was speak the truth about their dealings. And said that their dealings, everybody's praising these people, but what they're doing is completely racist. Oh, they got so angry with him. All of a sudden, you had stuff that was named after Jimmy Carter that just started disappearing. Yeah, Jimmy Carter building. You go back, and it's the James Billy Rutherford building. Whatever. What the hell just happened here? What happened to the Jimmy Carter building? Well, it's the Billy Rutherford. What? Right? That show you the power that these individuals have. And even when you have American people who have to sign allegiance papers to Israel, why would any American work? There are teachers who have lost their job because they asked a Palestinian teacher to sign an allegiance paper to Israel, or she would lose her job in America, not in Israel. That's an Israeli paper. Why would an Israeli agreement be forced upon people in America? But because their rally is so big, their congressional power, they passed that into law, and that's in law in 10, 12 states. That you have to sign that you are not going to boycott Israel, that you're not going to say anything against Israel, that you're going to do all of these things. And if you do those things, you will be forced to leave your job. Now, you got a teacher. This lady has gone to school to do all of these things. She has paperwork to do this. But she can't do her job because she refuses to sign the allegiance papers with Israel. You know how disrespectful that is, to ask a Palestinian to sign an allegiance paper to Israel? You have any idea how disrespectful that is? But that's happening right here in this country. We've never had to sign allegiance papers to anything. Why would we be signing allegiance papers to another country? They ain't even asked us to sign allegiance papers to this country. Why would we sign them for another country? But this is how she's being drawn out. Israel gets to say and do whatever she wants in America. When Netanyahu came to Congress unannounced, he got a standing ovation every 5 words. What people didn't know is he almost got America in a war. America almost got in a full-fledged war because of him, but he comes to Congress unannounced. He ain't asked nobody. He ain't told nobody. They knew about a day or two before he was coming, and they just stood up and applauded everything he said. The least of the flock is drawing her out. Go ahead.
Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations.
Right. When the earth started reeling to and fro off her axis, you're talking about possible earthquakes everywhere. Because when Babylon falls, it's going to be a real world event. You're talking about something happening along those fault lines and a whole edge of the earth sliding off into the ocean. Oh, ain't nothing going to be the same after that. If you put 2 ice cubes in the water, what happened to the water? You know, that's how they trick you when you go to the store. They put all that ice in there. And you like, yeah, I got an extra large soda. And in 2 slurps, you hear, wait a minute. This cup is this big. Right. They filled it up with ice. And they gave you about this much drink. Right. So you keep putting things in the water, what's going to happen to the water? Right. Go ahead. That was it. Let's go to Matthew chapter 13. Matthew chapter 13, and let's start that at verse 44.
Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hidden in a field, the which when a man has found, he hides, and for joy thereof goes and sells all that he has and buys that field.
Do we deal with the word of Yahweh our Elohim and the truth in that matter? Again, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a treasure hidden in the field, which when a man has found, he hides. Because, you know, he wants to make sure that nobody else get it, this treasure. So he hides the treasure. And then he go and get all that he has and sacrifices it so that he can get that one thing. That's something that we have to consider. And if you're strange with that concept, all you gotta do is go shopping with your wife and watch when she going to pick up her shirt and you like, baby, you don't wear that size. Oh no, I put it over here. What? This the kids section. I know, but what? I know what I'm doing, baby. Just follow me. What? Why are you shopping in the kids section? See, she done hid that. She found that. She was like, oh my goodness, the last one. She took that and went and put it over there in the kids section, right? So, and then she went home, got her money right, baby. I need to get some money. So then she got her money right, and then she came back, and she went back into the to the kids section and picked up that. She said, baby, ain't this perfect? Yeah, but I don't think no kid ought to have that on. How the hell they get in this kid section? Well, I was here earlier. Oh, okay, I understand. See, women understand this concept better. See, brothers had a little, it was a gloss over there. Y'all wasn't getting that concept. See, so I figured I'd help you, get your wives to help you figure that one out. Go ahead, bro.
Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchantman seeking goodly pearls, who, when he has found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it.
See, now y'all can understand that a little better. See? Go ahead, bro.
Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind, which, when it was full, they drew to shore and sat down and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. So shall it be at the end of the world. The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Yahshua says unto them, have you understood all these things?
Now understand now. People will call this, they say, we don't preach that gloom and doom because that's that Old Testament. Maybe they haven't read Yahshua's words. So shall it be at the end of the world, the angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just. We're gonna float in the air. We don't want to hear nothing about angels and wickedness and severing. We don't even like those words. Wait a minute. That's not coming from the Old Testament. This is the Messiah talking about weeping, wailing, and gnashing of teeth. And people say, see, you preach that gloom and doom. Say, that's what's wrong with y'all church. Y'all preach that gloom and doom there. See, that's why we have much more members. We only speak nice things. Right. And when that judgment comes, what y'all gonna do? Because this is Yahshua talking. Weeping, wailing, and gnashing of teeth. So that whole, we dealing with gloom and doom of the Old Testament, it must be a whole lot of this book y'all ain't reading. Go ahead.
They say unto him, yes, Adonai. Then said he unto them.
He said, have you understood these things? They understood gloom and doom. So how is it we got people that's supposed to be teachers and they got PhDs, but they can't understand gloom and doom? So if you teaching this, something wrong with you. Well, something must be wrong with Yahshua then. Go ahead.
Then said he unto them, therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom
That's
of heaven.
the problem. We don't want to be instructed unto the kingdom because we want to think, feel, and believe our way to it. I don't want you to teach me nothing. I don't want you to instruct me. I just want to think, feel, and believe. Go ahead.
Therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which brings forth out of his treasure things new and old. And it came to pass that when Yahshua had finished these parables, he departed thence. And when he was come into his own country, he taught them in every synagogue, insomuch that they were astonished and said, whence has this man this wisdom and these mighty works?
Now it says, and when he was coming to his own country, this is when you find out something about your folk. Go ahead.
Is not this the carpenter's son?
Now, they didn't have a problem with the doctrine. They said, my God, he knows this stuff. How did he know this stuff? Now they offended. Go ahead.
Is not his mother called Miriam, and his brethren Jacob and Joses and Simeon and Yehudis?
Right, these are all his brothers, but remember now, his mother's a perpetual virgin. So who the hell is all these brothers and sisters? But she's still a virgin. She's a virgin even after he's born. She's still a virgin. Anybody think that's peculiar? Go ahead.
And his sisters, are they not all with us? Whence then has this man all these things?
Uh-huh.
And they were offended in him.
They were offended in him. Go ahead.
But Yahshua said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, save in his own country and in his own house.
Right. The same thing that the servants of Yahweh gonna have to deal with. The most problems you're gonna get is among your own people in your own house. You come and talking all them great words, your folks like, yeah. Then you just get out of the cab county. You talking all this Yahweh and Yahshua. Didn't I just pick you up from the cab facility? Wasn't you just getting 3 hots on a cot? Yeah. And then you, Mr. Righteous? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they gonna remind you. Go ahead, brother, finish that up.
And he did not many mighty works there because of their unbelief.
Now consider that. If the unbelief causes works not to be done, mighty works, you have to consider, what does the unbelief in the household cause? How does it hinder the works that are able to be done in the household if the people in the household are disbelievers of the head of that house? Something we need to consider. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 53. Isaiah 53, and let's start at verse 1.
Who has believed our report? And to whom is the arm of Yahweh revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of a dry ground. He has no form nor comeliness. And when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him.
There is no beauty that we should desire him. So what do we consider a desirable trait in this day and time? Money. We don't really care how nobody look. Man, you can have 3 eyes, half of a nose. If you rich, you can come on, hey girl, how you doing? Is that your band? Yeah. Oh my goodness, you're so beautiful. Hey. We know what beauty is today. Go ahead.
He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he has borne our grief.
Now understand, these are prophecies that are written about the Messiah before the Messiah has got on this earth. Go ahead.
Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of Elohim, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions.
He was wounded for our transgressions. So he's going into the situation of Yahshua being wounded for us, yet it has not happened yet. So even in the situation where people are saying, I'm studying the scriptures, all you get to understand is the things that Yahweh allow you to understand. Anything after that, you start leaning to your own understanding. How much understanding were they going to have about this? It hadn't happened. Go ahead.
He was bruised for our lawlessness. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and Yahweh has laid on him the lawlessness of us all.
Every one of us has gone to his own way. I think, I feel, I believe. See, I believe that part is right, but I don't believe this over here. Right. You know what? I think these people got this right, but those people over there got that right. I think, I feel, I believe. Everyone has gone his own way. And it's hard to follow anything when one of your legs want to go left and the other one of your legs want to go right. Go ahead, bro.
He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers is dumb, so he opens not his mouth.
And this was mind-boggling to the people that are set forth as persecutors. Like, how? So you ain't gonna say nothing? I mean, this your opportunity. I mean, you're not gonna say anything? Go ahead.
He was taken from prison and from judgment. And who shall declare his generation?
You see, that's that thing you have to remind your people too. When they start telling you about you coming out of DeKalb County, you have to remind them, well, wait a minute now. They broke Christ out from jail. We don't remember that part though. We don't remember that wasn't in the Jesus Chronicles. You know what I'm saying? They didn't put that, you know what I'm saying there. You know, that's one of them things you're gonna have to find that on your own. I remember, you know, reading that. I'm like, wait a minute, who was in prison? Wait a minute, and you find out all those prophets were locked up. They locked up all of them. Every hero that we've ever had as within this so-called African American community, there's a mugshot for all of them. Dr. King got mugshot. Malcolm X got mugshot. All of them got mugshots. They just, who's the guy just died? John Lewis. He got mugshot. Every last one of the people who fought for anything with us, they all got mugshots. And we the first ones to look down on somebody talking about, y'all, you done did some time. All my heroes did time. Including Yahshua. Because that's where they take you to jail first before they kill you. And that's what we brag on. I ain't got no criminal record. See, we brag on that. So basically what we saying, I ain't really done nothing for my people. You know what I'm saying? Basically that's what we saying. Because the people who do so much for their people, eventually, they get a criminal record. Go ahead, bro.
No, there's a difference between suffering for righteousness' sake and what he definitely suffered for righteousness' sake.
No doubt about it. And even when you deal with, you know, those people during civil rights thing, man, they were suffering for righteousness' sake. They wasn't in jail because they stole a DVD player. You know what I'm saying? So don't steal a DVD player and then equate that to righteousness. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't want to see what I was gonna watch was righteous DVDs. Yeah, somebody, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do that. Just don't do that. Go ahead, bro.
For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people was he stricken.
Not for his own sin. See, that's where you get to deal with the level of righteousness. It wasn't for him. It wasn't for his doings. His suffering was about doing things for his people. Go ahead.
And he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it pleased Yahweh to bruise him. He has put him to grief.
Now you have to ask yourself, man, why would, okay, it says he spoke no deceit. He did no sin. So why was it pleasing for Yahweh to bruise him?
Setting things right.
I ain't gonna answer that question. I'm gonna see who's gonna answer it. Go ahead, bro. Keep reading.
When you shall make
because that's one of y'all questions.
When you shall make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed. He shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of Yahweh shall prosper in his hand. He shall see of the travail of his soul, and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their lawlessness. Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he has poured out his soul unto death. And he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors.
And made intercession for the transgressors. I want you to read the, it says he gave his back to those. I want you to read this on this next graphic here. It's Isaiah 50 and verse 6. But read the scripture right there.
I gave my back to the smiters, and my cheeks to them that plucked off the hair. I hid not my face from shame and spitting.
So understand all of the things that Yahshua had to deal with. When you deal with these the things that Yahshua was hit with, when you deal with they are like the whips, but at the end they have hooks on them. So the hooks grab into your skin, and when they pull back, it rip off whole chunks of flesh. So when you deal with something that looks like this, see, people are thrown off. They think that, it's certain parts about what Yahshua went through that the powers that be don't want us to have a connection to. But there is a direct connection between the graphic that you're looking at right now and the things that Yahshua suffered. Why? Because this is something that happens to people who are in captivity. But the last thing anybody wants to do is to allow you to make a connection to those things, because they don't want you to know that those were things that happened to your people, and that those are your people. Let's go to Mark chapter 15.
Mark chapter 15 and verse 1. And straightway in the morning the chief priests held a consultation with the elders and scribes and the whole council, and bound Yahshua, and carried him away, and delivered him to Pilate. And Pilate asked him, Are you the king of the Yehudis? And he answering said unto him, You sayest it. And the chief priests accused him of many things, but he answered nothing. And Pilate asked him again, saying, Answer you nothing? Behold how many things they witness against you. But Yahshua yet answered nothing, so that Pilate marveled. Now at the feast he released unto them one prisoner, whomsoever they desired. And there was one named Barabbas, which lay bound with them that had made insurrection with him, who had committed murder in the insurrection. And the multitude crying aloud began to desire him to do as he had ever done unto them. But Pilate answered them, saying, Will you that I release unto you the king of the Yehudis? For he knew that the chief priests had delivered him for envy. But the chief priests moved the people that he should rather release Barabbas unto them.
You see how important it is to decide who it is you're going to listen to? Who moved the people to feel that way about Yahshua? The people they listening to. Here come the chief priests saying, no, y'all need to do such and such. You got to be careful who you let get your ear. They were moved. Now, Barabbas was a murderer. They were moved to deny Yahshua and accept the murderer. And how they do that? By who they listening to. You need to understand that everybody got to have lips and a voice ain't worthy for you to be listening to. And everybody think they have enough understanding to know what things to accept and what things to reject. You know that only on the levels that you know. But if somebody came in here and started talking about rocket science and jet propulsion, I don't know which one of them damn things to take and which one to leave. Because I don't know a damn thing about jet propulsion. So me listening to that dude could have me off in the stratosphere, so could blow myself up trying something tomorrow. Because I don't know which things to take and which things to leave. And here's why our laziness comes in. Because instead of doing our own documentary, we want to watch somebody else's. Did you then go and do the research? Let me research jet propulsion. Let me research the things that I have heard. No, that ain't what we do. We're going to be lazy and just listen. That's why we got time to listen to everybody. Go and do your own research. Stop listening to every damn body. Now, listening to them, they have now turned on Yahshua. And ain't no getting that back. You turned on Yahshua, ain't no getting that back. Ain't no undoing that. You done listened to the wrong folk. They done turned you against Yahshua. And remember now, we can be turned against Yahshua just by turning against the people who Yahshua is using. Remember, he said, I was hungry and you didn't feed me. When we did that? You remember that thing you did to Eliel? Yeah, but he was working for me. He was doing my job then. So that means everything you did to him, you did to me. We don't consider that. So listening to the chief priests, they have now convinced our people to accept a murderer and deny Yahshua. All the while, we are actually living out Bible prophecy. And the interesting part is, every last person that is part of this scenario are studiers of the law. Yet they are fulfilling scripture and prophecy. And they have no idea that they're on the bad side of the prophecy. But these are people who read all the time. These are people who study all the time. And now they're in the bad part of prophecy, being the ones who accept the murderer and deny the giver of life. And they still feel proud about it. If that ain't scary, I don't understand what is. Go ahead, bro.
And Pilate answered and said again unto them, What will you then that I shall do unto him whom you call the King of the Yehudis? And they cried out again, Crucify him. Then Pilate said unto them, Why? What evil has he done? And they cried out the more exceedingly, Crucify him. And so Pilate, willing to content the people, released Barabbas unto them, and delivered Yahshua when he had scourged him to be crucified.
But you know, we do the same thing. We will go to a place, we'll go sit in the auditorium with Creflo Dollar. He will lie from the time we sit down to the time everybody leave. We won't say a thing. Come to the truth and constantly talk about what we don't like, what we think, what we feel, what we believe. Why you didn't say that to that murderer who you was giving all your money to? But we come in the truth and we got everything to say. But you didn't say that when you was in the lie. That's us. That's Jake and Jaikana for you. Go ahead, bro.
You know, look at the irony. You release the man that's killing y'all to kill the man who's trying to save you.
Ain't that us? That's Jake and Jaikana. That's what we do. We wait for the people to come and save us so we can kill them. And then the killers, we get them all our money, all our time, and even our nice speeches. Right. Go ahead.
And the soldiers led him away into the hall, called Praetorium. And they called together the whole band. And they clothed him with purple, and plaited a crown of thorns, and put it about his head, and began to salute him. Hail, King of the Yehudis.
Now, they're going to mock the king. They say, oh, he say he the king, so then they're doing these things to mock him. Give him a crown of thorns and smash it into his head so that it make him bleed. Mock him. They don't know. See, this is about the perception of power. Yahshua says, think not that I can call my Father right now and not get legions of angels. But if I do that, you won't be saved. I can do that, but I can't do that. See, that's something that's hard for our people to understand when you have power to do something, but if you do it, it's going to cause some other issues with salvation. Bump how somebody feel. What he's talking about, if I do this, your salvation is at stake. But I can call my daddy right now, and y'all, hey, I can show y'all a real fight. These people ain't got no strength. I got angels. But if I do that to prove me, what happens with you? Go ahead, bro.
And they smote him on the head with a reed, and did spit upon him.
Spit on him. The reed is what a king had. His little scepter, his power. They gonna hit him with some of those same things that's supposed to be a thing of power. So this is why they'll put a robe on him, mock him. Say, you think you're a king. But see, you got to remember, this right here is gonna come back to bite. Go ahead.
And bowing their knees, worshipped him. And when they had mocked him, they took off the purple from him and put his own clothes on him and led him out to crucify him.
That's why you got so many groups walk around in purple. That's a royal color. All right. So that's the reason they didn't just pick purple because they just thought it, you know, it was a good color. All right. It's a color of royalty. So they placed the purple on him to mock him. Okay. They were mocking him doing these things. Go ahead.
And they compelled one Simeon, a Cyrenian, who passed by, coming out of the country, the father of Alexander and Rufus, to bear his cross. And they bring him onto the place Golgotha, which is, being interpreted, the place of a skull. And they gave him to drink wine mingled with myrrh, but he received it not. And when they had crucified him, they parted his garments, casting lots upon them, what every man should take. And it was the 3rd hour, and they crucified him. And the superscription of his accusation was written over, the King of the Yehudis. And with him they crucified 2 thieves, the one on his right hand and the other on his left. And the scripture was fulfilled, which saith, and he was numbered with the transgressors.
He's numbered with the transgressors. He is punished along with people who have actually done wrong. Yet he has done no wrong. So he's counted with the transgressors from people who actually did the things that they were accused of. Go ahead.
And they that passed by railed on him, wagging their heads and saying, Ah, you that destroyeth the temple and build it in 3 days. Save yourself and come down from the cross.
Right. Look at them. Now they mocking him. See, it's real easy to stand on the side of where power is for the moment. That's why I tell people, be careful. Yahweh has a tendency to let things go on long enough so he can get everybody who's sympathetic to the situation. Right now, all the power seems to be in the chief priest's hands because Yahshua has been crucified. All the band has been split up. Now people say, because you got those folks that say, look, I just want to be on a winning team. I don't care how we winning. So it looked like they winning. But how many games we done seen where it looked like the person was winning or that team was winning? And when the game was over, they didn't win. But they were winning for 3.5 quarters or 4. They were winning the whole time. But they didn't win when it was over. So, they don't give out like a prize for how long you was on top. There ain't no prize for that. Go ahead.
Likewise, all the chief priests, mocking, said among themselves with the scribes, He saved others, himself he cannot save. Lest the Mashiach, the King of Israel, descend now from the cross, that we may see and believe. Verse 32, let the Mashiach, the King of Israel, descend now from the cross, that we may see and believe. And they that were crucified with him reviled him. And when the 6th hour was come, there was darkness over the whole land until the 9th hour. And at the 9th hour, Yahshua cried out with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, which is being interpreted, my Elohim, why have you forsaken me? And some of them that stood by, when they heard it, said, behold, he calleth Elias.
Right. Understand, he's having to go through this great amount of pain. He is being sacrificed for the sins of children of Israel and then ultimately the rest of the world. Go ahead.
And one ran and filled a sponge full of vinegar and put it on a reed and gave him to drink, saying, let alone, let us see whether Elias will come to take him down. And Yahshua cried with a loud voice and gave up the ghost. And the veil of the temple was rent in 2 from the top to the bottom. And when the centurion, which stood over against him, saw that he so cried out and gave up the ghost, he said, truly this man was the son of Elohim. There were also women looking on afar off, among whom was Miriam Magdalene and Miriam the mother of Jacob, the less, and of Joses and Solomon, who also, when he was in Galilee, followed him, and ministered unto him, and many other women which came up with him unto Jerusalem. And now, when the evening was come, because it was the preparation, that is the day before the Shabbat.
Right. The day before the Shabbat is the preparation. That is the day that we are supposed to get as many things as we can prepared so that we can keep the Sabbath without doing a whole lot of other things that we're going to have to deal with. Go ahead.
Joseph of Arimathea, an honorable counselor, which also waited for the kingdom of Elohim, came and went in boldly unto Pilate and craved the body of Yahshua. And Pilate marveled if he were already dead, and calling unto him the centurion, he asked him whether he had been any while dead. And when he knew it of the centurion, he gave the body to Joseph. And he bought fine linen, and took him down, and wrapped him in the linen, and laid him in a sepulchre which was hewn out of a rock, and rolled a stone onto the door of the sepulchre. And Miriam Magdalene and Miriam the mother of Joses beheld where he was laid.
All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 27. There's a few things that will be alike, but there's a few things that we can get out of that as well. Matthew 27, and let's start that at verse 32.
Matthew 27 and verse 32.
Mm-hmm.
And as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simeon by name. Him they compelled to bear his cross. And when they were come unto a place called Golgotha, that is to say, a place of a skull, they gave him vinegar to drink mingled with gall. And when he had tasted thereof, he would not drink. And they crucified him, and parted his garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet. They parted my garments among them, and upon my vesture did they cast lots.
Go to verse 51. Start from there.
And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in two from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent.
Okay, all of this has happened, right? You have the ground shaking. You got all of these things. All right, go to verse 52.
And the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose.
How you question anything after that? All right, you got earthquake and you got all of this stuff, right? And then graves open and your dead Uncle Joe walk up. What's up, son? Uncle Joe? How you question something after that? Believe it up to Jake and Jack Connor. Go ahead.
And came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went into the holy city, and appeared unto many. Now when the centurion and they that were with him, watching Yahshua, saw the earthquake and those things that were done, they feared greatly, saying...
See, that's always us. Hindsight is 20/20. You know, after you set a fire, you realize, oh man, that was combustible. It's real easy to figure that out, hindsight. But all you had to do was read the instructions and you would have found out that that was flammable. Go ahead.
Truly this was the son of Elohim. And many women were there beholding afar off, which followed Yahshua from Galilee, ministering unto him, among which was Miriam Magdalene, and Miriam the mother of Jacob and Joses, and the mother of Zebedee's children. When the evening was come, there came a rich man of Arimathea, named Joseph, who also himself was Yahshua's disciple. He went to Pilate, and begged the body of Yahshua. Then Pilate commanded the body to be delivered.
I jump to verse 62.
Now the next day, that followed the day of the preparation, the chief priests and the Pharisees came together unto Pilate, saying, Sir, we remember that deceiver said,
You know, and look, so don't be upset when people call you names. You know, when they say all manner of evil against you. I mean, here, these the high up people saying Yahshua is a deceiver. He don't even have the right to have a name. You know, that deceiver. Go ahead.
While he was yet alive, after 3 days I will rise again. Command therefore that the sepulchre be made sure until the 3rd day.
Now, the dead people that got up went into the city amongst all the people and presented themselves. But you see what they still doing? Let's put a rock over it to make sure he can't come out. No. You need to see the pettiness of your people. So you need to understand this is your petty people. After you done seen your dead Uncle Joe, you still trying to put a rock in front of the sepulchre to make sure he can't come out. See, you need to be ready for this kind of pettiness. Because these your people. Go ahead.
Lest his disciples come by night and steal him away, and say unto the people, He is risen from the dead. So the last error shall be worse than the first. Pilate said unto them, You have a watch. Go your way. Make it as sure as you can.
In other words, he's like, I ain't dealing with that mess. You want to go take a rock and put it on there, you do that. I ain't having nothing to do with that. That is a waste of my time. Let's go to back up and let's go to Matthew chapter 26. And let's start that at verse 36.
Verse 36. Then comes Yahshua with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and says unto his disciples, Sit you here while I go and pray yonder. And he took with him Cephas and the 2 sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then says he unto them, My soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry you here, and watch with me. And he went a little further, and fell on his face, and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will.
So even when it comes down to it, Yahshua is looking for a better way to deal with this than the torture that he's about to go through. So Yahshua starts praying, let this cup pass from me, if it is your will. Listen to that. There are certain things that we want to get around. But there's certain things that you have to understand that you're going to have to go through. That is going to be better for you at the end. But, you know, we're not end kind of people. We like right now, you know, kind of people. So we want it to be better right now. He's asking, take this cup from me. But if it's not in your will, if it is not in the plan for that, your will be done. But if there's any other way, Father, please show me this other way. But you also got to be ready for the answer when the answer don't come and it's the way you want it. Go ahead.
And he comes onto the disciples and finds them asleep, and says unto Cephas, What, could you not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, that you enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. He went away again the 2nd time and prayed, saying, O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, your will be done.
Once again, everything is about Yah's will. Okay? But he's also stating what he wants. I want to redeem my people. Is there any other way than what I'm about to go through? Go ahead.
And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. And he left them and went away again and prayed the 3rd time, saying the same words.
He went the 3rd time and he's saying the same prayer. Some of us, we pray 1 time and we say, that's it. he is given an opportunity. He is let me tell you something. He is in a situation where he asks, and before he get through asking, it's there. So believe you me, by the time if he said it 3 times and Yahweh has not answered, Yahweh ain't planning no answer. This ain't no regular man that's praying. Go ahead.
Then cometh he to his disciples and says unto them, Sleep on now and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners.
Right. So it says, and he came and found them sleeping again, in verse 44, and he left them, went away again, and prayed the 3rd time, saying the same words. It doesn't say Yahweh answered him. It doesn't say anything happened. But when he came back, he knew he was about to be betrayed. So either he understood by no answer that was his answer, but he knew that it was going down. Go ahead.
Rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that does betray me.
He is at hand that does betray me. We already sent him. We know he doing his thing. So it's about to go down. Go ahead.
And while he yet spake, lo, Yehudis, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude with swords and staves.
Right. You know, it bothers some people because we get attached to any people that we be around. So it bothers us if we're close to somebody and then that person betrays us. What book y'all read? Out of all the people, understand how deep this situation is. You got Yehudis who is betraying Yahshua, and not just betraying him, he betrays him with a kiss. Okay? Understand, before there were 70-something disciples. Yahshua uttered a hard saying and got rid of most of the disciples. So, Judas is not just somebody, he is made the second cut. And he's still a deceiver. He's a betrayer. But he wasn't one of the ones that went out as soon as something didn't go right. Read.
From the chief priests and elders of the people. Now he that betrayed him gave them a sign, saying, Whomsoever I shall kiss, that same is he, hold him fast. And forthwith he came to Yahshua and said, Hail, Master, and kissed him. And Yahshua said unto him, Friend, wherefore are you come? Then came they and laid hands on Yahshua and took him.
Now, verse 15, Yahshua said unto him, Friend, wherefore art you come? What statement does that sound like?
Yo.
When he was talking to Lucifer. When Lucifer came to make his appearance. Hey, from whence are you come? Same question. Interesting, ain't it? Let's go to Revelation chapter 5. Revelation chapter 5, and let's read verses 1 through 14.
And I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside, sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, Who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof? And no man in heaven, nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon.
Right. This is what people have to understand. The level of your service, the level of your sacrifice is what gives you certain abilities. Thinking that everybody that enter into the gate got the same level, you offers 2 left shoes. Yahweh know who has worked with their whole heart, who ain't worked at all, and who just hung around the water cooler. We get ready to get some water. Ain't no water in there. Because he who hangeth at the water cooler, that's going to be some of their name. He who hangeth at the water cooler. He full of Gatorade. He ain't did nothing. But then the workers get thirsty. They go to get something to drink. Hey, man, where the water at? Then he get up and walk, and when he walk, we can hear the water. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Every step he take, whoosh, he done drunk all the water. There was 5 gallons in there. That dude done drunk 5 gallons of water. Right. Go ahead.
And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders says unto me, Weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Yehudah, the root of David, has prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof.
Right. Yeah, and one of the elders said unto me, Weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Yehudah, the root of David, has prevailed to open the book and loose the 7 seals. So even in heaven, everybody ain't worthy to deal with that book. See, we don't even consider that. We'll listen to anybody who pick up a book. Let me teach you something, brother. Let me teach you something. Who said you was worthy to hold that book? There's levels to this. You got beasts that surround the throne. They say, holy, holy, holy all day. They can't deal with that book. That was on a different level. Go ahead.
And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and of the 4 beasts, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb, as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of Elohim sent forth into all the earth.
Right. See, because of that sacrifice, he has rights to things that everybody don't have rights to. That's why he said, gather me my servants together, those that have made a covenant by sacrifice. What's your covenant? What's your sacrifice? But everybody think they got the same rights. Who told you that? Go ahead.
You know, right here it says, which are the 7 spirits of Elohim sent forth into all the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier you were talking about, listening to this person and that person. And that's the thing. Each church has its own spirit guiding it.
Right.
You were sent where you were sent to for a reason. Now you trying to get all the spirits?
But you know what? Here's the thing. If you're going to follow that spirit, go ahead and follow that spirit. But here's the thing. If you're trying to follow both, you're going to end up disobedient and not accomplish either one.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to follow that spirit, go to that place, follow that spirit, and stay there. If you think that is a better spirit that fits you, fine, go there. But please don't try to bring their spirit back here. Go and stay where they're at. Don't bring that here. Go ahead, bro.
And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne.
Now, you find something that if we had read this on Sunday, you realize how stumped we would be. Wait a minute, hold on. Excuse me, Klepto, I got a question. Excuse me, Dr. Dollar. There's one on the throne already, and then there's one who was sacrificed and he's worthy to have the book, and then he goes and gets the book from the one sitting on the throne. So, question, Dr. Big Glorious Dollar, who the hell is on the throne if he is getting the book from the person sitting on the throne? Who the hell is he and who the hell is on the throne? We got 2 entities there. Tell me, please, Dr. Big Dollar. Right. Get out. Right. That's what you're going to get. Right. But see, we wouldn't even ask that question to Dr. Big Dollar. We're going to come give me hell. That's what we're going to do. See? That's what we're going to do. Read, man.
And if you're in the class and you don't know what it is, don't be afraid to ask later on, okay?
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 8. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of saints.
So, and what my brother was saying, what we were taught is Jesus was God. So then that only gives us one entity. They don't deal with Yahweh and Yahshua. here, what we just read, there are two entities. There's somebody sitting on the throne, and then there's Yahshua getting the book from somebody that's sitting on the throne. That busts up Christian doctrine. That's why you're not going to read Revelation on Sunday morning. It is going to bust up Sunday morning doctrine. So you cannot read something that busts up the very doctrine that you use to get all their money. If you ride down that street on the way here, there's a big sign that says Jesus is the Lord. And it's got L, capital L-O-R-D. What is in this book? What replaced Yahweh? Capital L-O-R-D. What does the sign say? Jesus is Yahweh. That's a lie. Y'all pass it every day coming in here. If you come down this road over here on the side, you pass it every time you come here. That is a lie. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 9, and they sung a new song, saying, You are worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for you were slain and have redeemed us to Elohim by your blood.
You see what makes him worthy? See, everybody that pick up a book ain't worthy. What was your covenant of sacrifice? What work you did? See, that's why people can put together documentaries, but then they can wait 6 more months before they do another one. But you know, when you're teaching, you got to do that every week. What is your sacrifice? You think Yahweh put your level of sacrifice the same as somebody who's sacrificing every week, and you sacrifice, we know I do something, saying twice a year. Well, congratulations. Them people over there did sacrifices twice a week. Them people they had choir practice, they had this thing, they're sacrificing constantly. You sacrifice once a year. You think you get the same seat they get? That's if you get a seat. You think you get the same seat they get? Yeah. Keep letting your pocket God fool you. Go ahead, bro.
For you were slain and has redeemed us to Elohim by your blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, and has made us unto our Elohim kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. And I beheld, and I heard the voice of many angels round about the throne and the beast and the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands of thousands.
But ain't none of them worthy to open the book, though. But all you got to do is say a name of an angel, and people, yeah, man. See, I read that in the book of Enoch, man. See, the angel such and such and such and such went down, but he wasn't worthy to open the damn book, though. So what the hell I'm listening to him for? That's why he had to write his own damn book, because he wasn't worthy to open this one. But we won't listen to him. What the hell you listening to him for? He was around the throne. He couldn't open that book. What I want to listen to what he got to say for? Read, man.
Saying with a loud voice, Worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessing. And every creature which is in heaven and on the earth and under the earth, and such as are in the sea, and all that are in them, heard I saying, Blessing and honor and glory and power be unto him that sits upon the throne, and unto the Lamb forever and ever.
I'm sorry, that's two entities again. Have y'all even paid attention? How many of y'all know that is the very scripture that's on the door when we come in here, Revelation 5? You know, we see something, we don't pay no attention. We just walk right in. Y'all even know that's on y'all door? Open the door all the time. Go ahead, bro.
And the fourth beast said, Amen. And the 24 elders fell down and worshipped him that lives forever and ever.
All right, let's go to Revelation chapter 19. It's on our logo, man. It's on everything we got. You should have seen that Revelation 5 and 5 over and over and over and over again. Revelation 19, let's start at verse 1.
And after these things I heard a great voice of much people in heaven, saying, hallelujah.
Much people in heaven saying hallelujah. Yet can't nobody figure out his name. Go ahead.
Salvation and glory and honor and power unto the Adonai, our Elohim. For true and righteous are his judgments. For he has judged the great whore, which did corrupt the earth with her fornication.
Now see, you can even read that on Sunday morning because you can't say whore. You can't say that's a Christian cussing word right there. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, bro.
And has avenged the blood of his servants at her hand.
It's amazing how pretend righteousness is. That it will not let you say certain words, but you can do all kind of outlandish deeds, but you can't say certain words. We make a man an offender for a word that now you can't even read exactly what. Now they have whole translations now. You know what I'm saying? You got a new living translation, so that way you can get to whore, and it won't say that. For true and righteous are his judgments, for he has judged the great lady. That's not even the same writing when you put the wrong thing there. Go ahead, man.
And again they said, hallelujah. And her smoke rose up forever and ever.
Again they said hallelujah. Again they said praise Yah. Go ahead.
And the 24 elders and the 4 beasts fell down and worshipped Elohim that sat on the throne, saying, Amen, hallelujah. And a voice came out of the throne, saying, Praise our Elohim, all you his servants, and you that fear him, both small and great. And I heard as it were the voice of a great multitude, and as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of mighty thunderings, saying, Hallelujah! For the Adonai Elohim omnipotent reigns. Let us be glad and rejoice, and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife has made herself ready. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of saints. And he saith unto me, Right, blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he says unto me, These are the true sayings of Elohim. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, See you do it not. I am your fellow servant, and of your brethren that have the testimony of Yahshua. Worship Elohim, for the testimony of Yahshua is the spirit of prophecy. And I saw heaven opened, and behold a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he does judge and make war.
He does judge and make war. So understand all of the things that he has suffered while he was here. So do understand, I mean, he's gotten hit with whips that ripped his flesh off. He's had nails pierced through his body. How happy, and what they told us on Sunday morning, he's just coming back for a love fest. He coming back, he got flowers and candy. And he just speaking sweet little scriptural nothings. How great art thou? You are great conquerors. I loveth thee. You just understand the last thing that just happened to him before he left here. But now he coming back with all the power. You think he playing? And he done had a couple thousand years to think about it. You just have to wonder sometime if Yahshua ain't just sitting up there, ooh, I can't wait to get, ooh. Well, you have to wonder if Yahshua just like, oh, daddy, let me go now, let me go. Oh, daddy, let me go. Okay, it ain't time. Oh, it ain't time. Oh, but I hope he's still living, because I want to get him. Oh, I want to get him. Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
You know, you even got to think about the fact of a wounded animal is sometimes the worst animal to run up on, even though you're trying to help it.
Yeah. It's in defense mode. You know? It's in defense mode. And you got to understand, Yahshua done went through all of these things, man, and he had the knowledge that he had power. But if he used the power, it was going to hurt his purpose. This time, he's going to get all the power and he gets to use it. Oh, and he not by himself. See, it's a different. Y'all know, we're different when we by ourselves. He ain't gonna be by himself because hey, we know that from school. You know them bad dudes, they were real bad when they were with their friends. They start all the fights when they with their friends. You see them by themselves and they turn into choir. How art thou, brother? Wait a minute, man. Didn't you just start a fight the other day? Oh no, that was not I. I meant you no harm, brother. Right. No, Yahshua coming with power. And he hadn't forgotten a thing about what was done to him. Now, hold on. That also includes our people who gave him up. So don't just think he's coming here and he just gonna be upset with a certain group of people who look a certain way. Contraire, my friend. Those people who gave him up, they look just like us. Read, bro.
Verse 12, his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Elohim. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the Almighty El.
Right. So then you have the power of the word that everything was framed off of. So then you have the sword that proceeds out of his mouth. The very word that cuts you. People like, well, you know what? I don't like doing such and such because the scripture cut me. You might want to get cut by this word before you get cut by the one that he got. Because the word going to cut you one way or another. And if you wait for the word to cut you when Yahshua is speaking it, you're not going to live from his cuts. So you'll live from my cuts. So you get cut when I'm reading something, you get to heal and live and grow. When the word proceeds out of Yahshua's mouth, that's a sword coming out there. Sword not coming to cut. Sword has a point on it to pierce. You ain't getting back up from that. So you might want to get cut. At least you get stabbed. Go ahead.
And he has on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Adonai of Adonais. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying, to all the fowls that fly in the midst of the heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great Elohim, that you may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. And I saw the beast, and the kings of the earth, and their armies, gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse.
Check that out. The nations are putting together a force of fighters to fight against Yahshua. The minute I see a horse come out of heaven, our fight is pretty much over. That's all I gotta say. Excuse me, you on the horse. Are you Yahshua? Okay, well, I'm gonna go sit over here. Oh, I'm done. Our fight over. I'm not fighting no dude that's riding a horse in the air. And then he got a bunch of people behind him. They all got on white linen. You know how stupid you got to be to enter in that fight? We need to learn when to be a coward. Coward time. I like to go ahead and get my coward badge right now because I'm not fighting that guy right there. Not fighting that guy. But leave it up to us. We fight anybody. We see Moshe part the sea. We see all of those things. What we still do? We still fight against him. That's us. I'm not fighting that guy. Go ahead, bro.
You know, that's the mind conditioning of these movies that we watch with the alien invasions, because they know what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
But we thinking it's alien invasion.
Right. it's an alien. You know what I'm saying?
Not one we can deal with.
You know what I'm saying? What is it? It's an unknown life form according to this land. Go ahead.
And against his army, verse 20. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone.
Right. So when you get down to the lake of fire, ain't but 2 people gonna be in it originally. Go ahead.
And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth.
Sword proceeded out of his mouth. So the same word, if the word don't cut you now, it's gonna stab you later. You much rather get cut than stabbed. Stab, you ain't living. Cut, you get to heal. Cut, you can heal and grow. Best to get cut now. When a word come out of Yahshua's mouth, ain't no sword. The ultimate job of a sword was never to cut. It is to pierce through you. Go ahead, bro.
And all the fowls were filled with their flesh. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years.
Right. And I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Go ahead.
And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season.
Right. So, in the sabbatical kingdom, Lucifer gonna be locked in the pit. So you got a pit, then you have the lake of fire that ain't got but 2 people in it. Go ahead.
And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahshua, and for the word of Elohim, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads, or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with the Mashiach 1,000 years.
So then they are now brought back to life in the 1,000 years that the adversary, the devil, is locked up. Why? They already did their sacrifice. They already been beheaded. They already went through all of those things. Now they get to live in peace while Lucifer is in jail. Go ahead.
But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection.
Right. So all those who are going to be punished, they don't even get to witness the 1,000 years of Yahshua. They don't even know it happened. When they wake up, the 1,000 years of Yahshua gonna be gone. Now they get to wake up and deal with judgment when their daddy get in judgment. Go ahead.
Blessed and holy is he that has part in the first resurrection. On such the second death has no power, but they shall be priests of Elohim and of the Mashiach, and shall reign with him 1,000 years.
Right. That's something we ain't never heard on Sunday morning, that it was more than one resurrection. Because, I mean, immediately you die and you was zip-tang in heaven. So why you need a first and second resurrection if you already in heaven anyway? See, reading Revelation would bring up too many questions on Sunday morning. So it's just good, just stay out of it. Go ahead.
And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison.
So Lucifer get parole. All right. So he get parole. And what happened when you get a career criminal? When they get parole, they go back out and do the same thing they went to jail for. Okay? Go ahead.
And shall go out to deceive the nations.
Ain't that what you got in jail for? Soon as he free, soon as he get parole, he doing the exact same thing he got in jail for. Go ahead.
Which are in the 4 quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog.
Okay, stop. How many of y'all was listening to Bible study when we read the letter where the Jewish people said that they've been having meetings with Yahshua. They've been having meetings with the Messiah. All right? Okay. Did y'all pay attention to the part where he says, do y'all understand what's happening? Gog and Magog is happening right now. Pause. All right. Read that again, what we just read. What verse?
Verse 8.
Read, yeah.
And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog.
Stop. That doesn't happen until Satan is loosed after the 1,000 years. The fake Jewish priest said that Gog and Magog is happening right now. Yeah, y'all didn't catch it. I purposely didn't say that in Bible study. You know, I said, no, that's going to get off in my class. No. He said that's happening right now. And I just sat and I wanted to see who was going to say something. Ain't nobody said nothing. I said, look it. We'll deal with it on the Sabbath. He said Gog and Magog is happening right now. So I'm saying, so we must have missed the whole 1,000 years of Yahshua. Then Lucifer came back. So he was locked up. We done missed 1,000 years. And now he's freed and went back to deceive the nations. That's the only way we can be dealing with Gog and Magog. But see, because some Jewish priest named Hakalichus said it, now we said it must be true. Because he said it in Hebrew. Right. A lie don't care what language you're telling in. Check that out. Go ahead, bro.
To gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about, and the beloved city. And fire came down from Elohim out of heaven and devoured them.
But you know what? We can't expect these people to understand any of those things because they're reading the Talmud and Mishnah. They're not reading any of this. They're reading somebody's opinion about this. Which is the same thing we're doing if we're going to listening to everybody about it. Then all we're doing is listening to somebody else's opinion about it. Go ahead.
And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone.
Now check this out. See, the devil don't get the lake of fire until afterwards. Now he get to join his buddy, the beast and the false prophet. But he don't automatically go in the lake of fire. He's now going into the lake of fire. He goes to the pit first. After being locked up in the pit, then he gets his parole hearing. And he convinces, them in his parole hearing that he should be free. He get out and he does the same thing he got locked up for. And now it's time to go and get in that lake. But you got to understand, Lucifer is a high up angel. And for him to be punished, there's a series of breaking down that has to happen. Go ahead.
Where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before Elohim, and the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead and were in them and they were judged every man according to their works.
Right. So that judgment doesn't even happen when Yahshua comes. All right. You got a sabbatical kingdom. You have all of those things going on. The dead that didn't do the things they were supposed to do, they don't even know that has happened. If we leave this earth and the next time we wake up, we see ourselves at a great white throne judgment, know that you just missed 1,000 years of Yahshua. And you got to ask yourself, why did you miss it? And like my elders say, if you wake up and see that, ain't no need of waiting for judgment. Just go on over there and jump in the lake. Go ahead, bro.
And death and the grave were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire.
All right, let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to First Corinthians chapter 15. First Corinthians chapter 15, and we're going to read verses 50 through 58.
Verse 50. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Elohim, neither does corruption inherit incorruption. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump.
In the moment, in the twinkling of an eye. Let me tell you something. When you sleep, you have no knowledge of how much time has passed. First thing you do when you wake up is you look for a clock to try to figure out what time it is. You could have been sleeping 2 hours or 22 hours. You have no idea. These people will have been asleep for over 1,000 years, and it will seem like last night. That to them is a twinkling of an eye. They don't know the difference between how much time has passed. Go ahead.
For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed.
Right, even the dead hear the trumpet. The trumpet shall raise the dead. Go ahead.
For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where's your sting? O grave, where is your victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. But thanks be to Elohim, which give us the victory through our Adonai, Yahshua the Anointed One. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be you steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Adonai, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in Yahshua.
All right, that's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. We are going to do our Bible trivia today. Let's make that, it's 3:23 now. Let's make that 5:45. We will do Bible trivia today. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.